What's up everyone, Coach Dan Palacios of Kinetic Training here at my Kinetic Training Off the Grid facility. We've got Chief Scientific Officer of Red Recover, Francisco Cidral, here with me today to tell us a lot about red light therapy, or also known as low level light therapy. What does that actually mean to the regular person, and how do we use it to recover?
Well, first let's clarify on the terms. There's a lot of different terms down there. It first started with low-level laser therapy as opposed to high-intensity laser therapy that you go to a clinic to get, like your maybe.
Sounds intense.
Yeah, intense can actually kill the cells.
Right,
I mean, that's what it's used for in
yeah.
surgery and everything else. So that was noted back in the day that if you use low-level, instead of killing the cell, you actually stimulate the processes inside of the cell. So high-intensity laser therapy actually kills the cells, while low-level light therapy stimulates the cell. So that's how it started back in the day. It was by mistake, actually, which is kind of a funny story for another time. Yes, but anyways, but now, then afterwards, with the advent of the advances in LED technology that were actually conducted by NASA, they wanted to develop something that was useful for skin healing in space with the astronauts, and also for plant growth. And so they developed the LEDs, or light emitting diodes. And back in the day, there was a lot of publications where it says light emitting diodes by NASA. And they published it. If you go into their website right now, you're gonna see that they're still doing a lot of research with that.
I bet.
And so the term changed from low-level laser therapy to low-level light therapy, because now it's not just laser diodes, but also LEDs. And most recently, maybe like 8 years ago, 10 years ago, somebody came up with the term photobiomodulation, which is the photons from the light. And biomodulation means modulating biological systems through the use of photon, or light. So photobiomodulation, that's how you call it. Red light became very, very common, but it's not the only one that makes the difference.
There's certainly an entire spectrum of light.
Generally, when you say red light therapy, you're meaning red light and infrared light, or near-infrared light.
Wow. Now, that's a lot of great scientific verbiage. What does that actually mean for the average person? And when you're putting the Red Recover on, what's actually occurring at the cellular level to quote unquote stimulate the cells?
So there is a lot of interesting things that happen, and it's by the way, it's a very well validated therapeutic modality. If you go into the PubMed, which is a database for that's maintained by the United States National Library and National Institutes of Health, and type low-level light therapy, you're going to have probably around 10,000 publications.
Wow, a lot
on
of
the matter.
information
So
out
it's
there, yeah.
very well validated. Basically, what it does, and the most interesting part of it, is that we have this mitochondria inside of every cell. Right. And the mitochondria are like the powerhouse of the cell. Right. And the major effect of low-level light therapy, if you give it at a specific dose and a specific dosage and specific wavelength, is to activate the mitochondria. Inside of the mitochondria, there are complexes that are involved in the respiratory chain, which is to actually produce the ATP, which is the cellular energy, like the energy token of a cell.
Yeah,
and the fourth complex is called cytochrome C oxidase. It's a photoacceptor, which is a molecule that changes configuration or is affected by photons. So inside of the mitochondria, imagine the electrons are running and creating the ATP. It hits with the light and accelerates the production because you have more electrons. You have the cytochrome oxidase working faster, and you have a better production of cellular energy. There is a little burst of oxidative stress, which is not bad in that circumstance, because
we
it
do
activates.
that in the gym all the time.
There you go. But that one is very localized and very fast, and it activates actually the enzymes, or the production of the enzymes that are antioxidant, like glutathione, superoxide dismutase, and catalase. They're actually stimulated by low-level light therapy. So you have increased metabolism, increased energy, increased production of ATP, and increased antioxidative effect. Overall, the effects are amazing.
So we've actually got one of the Red Recover devices here for the cervical spine. How do we actually set this up, and how does it work as far as starting the product and getting it up and running so that I can actually implement the training session or the therapy session?
So yeah, this is the part that is very tricky. It's a very complicated process. You do it like this, put it on, and you press the button. There you go.
There we go.
It's already working.
All right, and I don't really feel anything, so what's actually going on? Why should I feel anything? And is it actually working?
Yeah, no, the moment you turn it on, it starts working because it penetrates like deep, like 2, 3, 4 centimeters or into your
So it's getting deep down into the tissues.
oh yes, yes. Of course, it's going to depend on the area of your body that you're putting this on and everything else. But penetration is deep, and then you start immediately having the benefits on the mitochondria, like we said, increased microcirculation in the area. So you may feel a little heat, but very minor, you know, because it's not intended to heat
I
up.
can feel that right now.
Yeah, you feel a little bit, but it's working. And once you press that button, after 5 minutes, it shuts off.
Right.
That's enough for now.
Perfect, perfect. Now, is wearing clothing an issue at all, or
It would
does
be
that
better if
prevent
it is in contact with your
directly
skin.
to the skin?
That would be better. But also, you know, far infrared, infrared, and near infrared, they have very good penetration. It goes through the shirt as long as it's not like too thick.
Super
you
thick
know?
material, right? Excellent. Now, if we actually look at the device here, and this was a little bit alarming to me at first until I was better educated on it, but we can see that we have a couple strips of light here. What's going on with these strips that aren't turned on? Is the device working or not?
So that's the beauty of it because we have a combination of 3 different wavelengths. So the wavelength is, you think of it like radiation propagates through space like a waveform.
Right.
And then it has like the peak and then goes down. So the distance in between the 2 peaks is called the wavelength.
We're going to take you back to high school,
There we go.
high school science
Physics.
class here.
So red is a longer wavelength. And up to the limit of around 700 and something nanometers, that's how you measure this, you can see. After that, you cannot see anymore. It's in the infrared range.
We just can't see the
That's
light
it.
that's being emitted.
It's still working. So this is a red, and then we have a combination of 2 different infrareds here. And by the way, this is the only product that has the combination of 3 different irradiances.
Amazing.
So
Now, what's the difference between those 2 different types of light, and why do we use those specifically in Red Recover?
So the longer the wavelength, the better the penetration into the tissue. So the red is gonna penetrate, but it's gonna be very effective for skin and for the surfaces right underneath the skin. So you have very good effects on wound healing. You have good effects on your tone overall of your muscle, increasing blood circulation in the area. And then you have the infrared. The 830 nanometers that we use here is very good to activate the mitochondria.
Right,
So
getting
that's
into the cell.
the peak
So
of
it's
it.
almost like the red is unlocking everything, and then
There
the
we go.
white is coming in behind it and delivering that
That's it.
mitochondria charge.
And then we also have the 950 that starts activating water actually as well,
Wow.
which surrounds all the cells, and then you have
Yeah.
all the effects because you have a combination. So hitting it with 3 different sources. But I think the most important part of it is that people should realize that this is not treating a disease. We're not doing something that is going to be an external thing that we're putting into your body that your body doesn't recognize and then maybe generate a side effect. No, this is stimulating natural processes.
It's already there.
Your
right?
body's already doing this.
Optimization.
We're simply optimizing it.
Right.
That's why we talk about recover, and hence the name,
Right.
Rad Recover, because it helps with recover. And recover is like every day, right?
Yeah.
Even if you're
Moment by moment.
even if you're not a high performance athlete,
Yeah.
you need recovery
Yeah,
after the work.
everyone does. And so, I like to think that I'm an innovator in the fitness, health and wellness, strength conditioning space. I've seen a lot of different products out there in the recovery space, quote unquote. I've even seen other red light therapy devices out there. How does Red Recover differ from those other modalities, particularly the other red light panels that you see that are out
So
there?
the panels are good. I mean,
Yeah.
there's no bad red
Right,
light
right, of
therapy,
course, yeah.
unless the dose is not good enough or the penetration is not good enough.
Right.
The panels. I think that this is much easier to use, much more
Very
flexible,
mobile, very deployable.
easy to carry
you can wear
around.
it, right?
In contact with your skin. The panels are far. The light is not convergent, it's divergent. So as you get away from it, it starts to
moving past
disperse
you,
a lot
right.
more. Like actually, it even happens here. Once you put it on your skin, the light beam is going to do two different things.
Right.
Part of it is going to be reflected, and part of it is going to penetrate. The part that is going to penetrate, part of it is going to be scattered, and part is going to be absorbed by the photoacceptors. Not just the cytochrome C oxidase inside of the mitochondria, but also chromophores like hemoglobin
Right.
You know, activate your blood,
Right. Important
and so
for
on and so
bloodstream,
forth.
of course, yeah.
So imagine, even if you use it over here, part of it is already lost. Imagine if you put it at a distance.
Right.
It's
Now
even
it's-
bigger loss.
Right.
They're good products and they work, but this is way less expensive and
Very direct, very
direct. Yes.
very therapeutically relevant
There you go. You can carry it around.
in regards to promoting blood flow and stimulating that mitochondria to do what it does. We know that it does that. It works.
Exactly.
You got 10,000 studies you can go pick apart out there if you
Yes.
would like to. Now, I noticed it just shut off. That was really only about 5 minutes.
5 minutes,
So
that's enough.
with only 5 minutes of treatment, let's say, or a 5-minute session, what do you actually get out of that in regards to
lot.
the long-term effect?
2,500 milliwatts
Wow.
of energy. So when I did my master's and my PhD in neuroscience, looking at the neurophysiological mechanisms of low-level light therapy in the lab, I used different models, but the pen that I used for localized treatment had 80 milliwatts. This one has 2,500.
Wow. It's a lot of energy.
It's a
in
lot
very,
more.
in a very
It's a lot
small
more.
device. This is like a little tactical nuke for charging your body up and making it perform at its highest possible level. Now, are there any downsides? Is there anyone who can't use Red Recover?
Well, there are no contraindications. There is no known I mean, we don't recommend for people to treat like a cancerous tumor area, right? Because for obvious reasons. But apart from that, I mean, it's very good even if you have a wound or
Right. If you have
because
normal mammalian tissues, you can definitely use.
you can use it.
And that being said, right, we're all mammals here. Can this be used on animals?
100%. Yes, we're actually coming up with the line for pets as well.
Wow, tremendous, tremendous. So you can get your dogs and cats and
Yeah.
taken care of
A lot
as well.
of a lot of vets are using already laser therapy.
Yeah.
But now they have an option of a brace that you can take home and continue the therapy.
Right,
And,
it's very
and that is the
comfortable.
biggest advance, I think, because you go to a clinic, and it's very common nowadays. I mean, low-level light therapy is used in dermatology, is used in physical therapy, is used everywhere, but they use it in the clinic.
Right.
This one you take home.
So, I mean, with so much deployability, the level of sheer power in this small little device, what makes it so much more effective than some of these other therapies out there? I mean, we do all kinds of cold plunges, we do massage, we do all kinds of different stimulation systems, and that's all great, right? But if we were to have one thing like Red Recover, why would we choose this over any other type of therapy?
I think this one is very easy to use. You can carry around. You can wear
I can
it.
attest to that for sure. I've played with a lot of different stuff that's out
Yes.
there. It takes a lot of a little bit of complicated knowledge to understand it. I mean, literally just
Press it.
pressing the button, lights are on, 5 minutes, boom.
How about low cost?
Low cost as well, right?
How about not need supervision while you're using it at home?
It doesn't have to be doctor directed,
No.
and and you don't need a PhD to understand how to turn the
No,
button
you
on
don't.
and
It's-
the rest of this stuff. One of the things that you had mentioned when we were talking before was, again, that level of penetration and that level of charge. Now, you're charging up these cells kind of like a battery, right? And batteries only last for so long before all the stress and all the other stuff that we're doing to ourselves starts to happen. So how long does the treatment or the training session actually last?
The effect of the low-level light therapy
Right,
once
yeah.
you deploy it? Well, it depends on the circumstances, depends on the person.
Right.
But generally the effects, you start feeling it right away, and then the effects last maybe 4 or 6 hours,
Wow.
more or less,
So-
depending on the person. But
Right.
but again, you do it, we recommend 3 times a day.
Right, yeah.
So,
cover your
3 times a
bases,
day.
5 minutes, 15 minutes, 3 times a day on an
Covers the whole day.
acute or chronic pain area that's having some major issues with the level of power this thing is packing. You can get a lot done in a pretty short period of time.
Exactly. And that was the idea. The idea was, I've been studying this for a long time. I mean, I did my master's, my PhD, my postdoctorate, studying this. I was a professor of neurophysiology, integrative medicine, photobiomodulation. I have publications on the matter. I mean, I wrote book chapters, books.
in this field, yeah.
And I wanted to create something that was easy to use, simple, practical,
Right.
And then I found Ed, who had some of the very good ideas on how to do this.
Right.
And I think it's a very perfect relationship. And the idea is that everybody has a few of these
Right.
to use every day.
So we've got the cervical device here, but it appears that you guys have a bunch of other different options for different areas of the body. So how many different devices does Red Recover have? And Are there medical applications here?
Yeah. Well, I lose track of the number of different braces they were developing. They continuously coming out, but we have one for your shoulder, the shoulder area,
Right.
ankles, knees, elbow, hand, your cervical, the one that you have there. You know, there's going to be additional products for additional uses. And you asked if this is a medical line. Well, it's interesting because this is exactly the same product that we had as a medical line.
Wow.
And we wanted, but it was only bought through, doctors and
Right, insurance, and you have to go through the mess of things to go through that process.
So it's already validated by orthopedic surgeons, and so we wanted to bring this to the general customer. That's why, we developed this line.
Yeah, and creating great, affordable, deployable options, efficient options for the average person to not just respond and react to injury, pain, sickness, what have you, but also prevent it potentially, right?
That's the main thing. I mean, we're dead set on, generally as a society, we're dead set on treating diseases or fighting the causes of disease. We should be, for me, I think being a naturopathic doctor, I think that we should be aiming at promoting health.
Right.
This is promoting health. This is promoting cellular energy,
right.
Promoting increased microcirculation, bringing more oxygen into your cells. So that's health.
Right, and keeping your body optimized to a place where it can recover at light speed, right?
For sports, it's imperative.
Yeah,
Before
absolutely.
you work out, you should have sessions because then you prepare your body for the workout, and afterwards helps with the recovery because you're hurting yourself every time you're doing like something very heavy, right?
Now, are there certain protocols that you would recommend that we follow if we were to say, okay, step one with Red Recover, we're going to start here, then we're going to hit here, then we're going to go there, that is more advantageous?
Well, the first one, because of the nature of the pads, they're set for specific areas. So people generally get them because they have a problem at a specific area.
Right.
Or if you're a pitcher, then you want to have this area and the elbow and the shoulder worked out every day. But in general, either one of the pads that you use 3 times a day, 5-minute sessions, and that's it. We have a multi-purpose one that covers all different areas.
Anywhere, right?
Yes,
So.
I myself, I like to put it over my liver. I like to stimulate, my stomach. I like to put in actually in the back of my head, but as you
because there's no area that doesn't have mitochondria in your body, right? So you can always use it.
Yes.
And even if you bought just one device, you could in theory still apply that device anywhere, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first. That's Red Recover. You can now recover at light speed. Thank you so much, Francisco. It was awesome having you today to chat about Red Recover. We're super excited to have this product and to help people really recover quickly with Red Recover.